because I want us to do learning unit 3, 4.
4, okay.
I'm sharing the learning unit. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think the main thing here that I want you to get from this learning unit, it talks about source documents. Do you know what is a source document?
Yes.
What is a source document?
The book of first entry. I don't know. The slips, till slips and stuff.
Okay,
And
okay. You're
invoices.
close. You're very close. You're very close. So basically, source documents are evidence that you use uh, uh, that a transaction happened.
Okay.
So this is sort of like an evidence that a transaction happened
Has
in
occurred.
a
Okay.
business. So
Okay.
so if there was no source documents, then there is no what do you call it? You cannot trace any transactions that happen in the
A
business.
transaction.
So if now
Okay.
there's no source documents, can you see that then there is nothing to record? What are
Yes.
you get what I'm saying? I cannot say that I've got, let's say, for example, I've got a business that I buy and sell stationery, and I sell you stationery for 5,000. And when I sell you that stationery, I don't give you an invoice as proof that I sold something. And at the end, I just take the 5,000 and that's it.
Yes.
Can you see that something doesn't add up then if that's the case?
Yes.
You get your, I give you, maybe you came in and bought maybe 1,000 pens, and I give you the pens and that's it. And you ask for an invoice. I say, no, I don't have an invoice.
Okay.
So it will affect the business's going concern, because we don't know if we're going to make a profit or loss. There is no recording of the transaction. So even if I as the owner of the business, want to see the financial performance and the financial position, which is the that you can see on the annual financial statements, I can't determine, I won't be able to see where the business is at because I don't have transaction.
Yes.
Do you understand? So remember last week I shown you financial statements. Those financial
Yes.
statements, the auditors needs to verify source documents, needs to verify the source documents.
Yes, yeah, I know auditors. They want to see proof of delivery. They just
Yes,
ask random stuff.
yes, yes. So just imagine there is no source documents. Just
Yes.
imagine there is no source documents. What kind of a business is that? You can't prove anything. You get what I'm saying? You can't prove anything as a business. You can't prove anything if there's no source document. So I want you to look at this, the financial accounting cycle. So this is where we are now. You come, I've got a stationery company. You come and buy stationery. That's where a transaction is happening now. You come and buy into my business. you come and buy stationery, and at that point, that is where the transaction data is happening. So when the transaction data is happening is source documents. What is that source documents of that transaction? I've got a stationery company and I buy and sell stationery. You as Faith come and buy stationery. So my question to you is, what are the source documents? What are the source documents?
For stationery company, I'm assuming a till slip.
And I didn't give you a proper transaction. So you come and buy stationery and you pay in cash. You gave me 5,000 Rand for that stationery. So my question is, what is the source documents? So number one, I need to give you an invoice. So when a company, my company as a stationery company, MT Stationers, I need to issue a tax invoice. That tax invoice is issued to you for 5,000 Rand. And remember, if you're so I'm VAT registered. So when I'm VAT registered, I'm gonna add a VAT to all my invoices. So I am VAT registered. So the invoice is 5,000 plus 15% VAT. So the invoice is 5,000 plus 15 plus 15% VAT that I'm gonna issue you. So I'm gonna give Faith the invoice, which is 5,000 plus 15% VAT. And because I get, I'm receiving cash from you, I'm gonna give you also a cash receipt because you paid this in cash. Are you with me?
Yes.
So the source document is you are getting a tax invoice from MT Stationers because MT Stationers is VAT registered. MT Stationers, let me just, before we go through that learning unit 4, I just want you to see what I'm saying. So MT Stationers buys and sells stationery to customers. Faith customer bought stationery for, so the value of the stationery so it's so the value of stationery, stationery for 5,750, and here I want to include that MT Stationers is a VAT vendor. So what is a VAT vendor? It's whereby a company is registered for VAT, and for all their invoices, they need to charge VAT to their customers. And when they buy goods, they need to claim that VAT from source. So this is what's happening, Faith. So you, the customer, you came and bought stationery worth of 5,750, including this is including VAT. Okay, this is including VAT. Okay. So my question is, what are the source documents? What are the source documents for this transaction?
Okay, so it will be the tax invoice and the cash receipt slip.
So the question is, what are the source documents? Number 2, are the source documents internal or external documents? And what is the VAT charged on the invoice? Okay, so number 1, the question for number 1 is, and the other question is this a cash or a credit transaction? Okay, number 1 is, what is the source? What are the source documents for this transaction?
The source documents would be the tax invoice. But previously you said that the person paid cash.
Yes,
So another
yes.
source document would be the cash receipt slip.
Let me just write there. Paid. Let me. Paid cash, yes. Yeah, so you're saying source document is?
The tax invoice issued and the cash receipt slip.
Tax invoice issued to customer and cash receipt issued to customer. Is that all?
Yes.
Do you think, is that all?
As far as I can see, yes.
Okay, what are the source documents internal or external documents?
Yeah, that question I don't understand.
Okay, let me explain to you. So source documents can either be internal or external. So on this, let me just share this. We on 65. So on this page, it talks about internal source documents and external source documents. So internal source documents are those documents prepared by the entity itself to record transactions with external clients.
Oh, okay.
Source documents are usually drawn up in duplicate. The original will be given to the other party, to the transaction, and the duplicate will remain with the entity to enable the entity to record the transaction in their accounting records. Example of internal source documents are cash register roll, duplicate cash sales invoice, duplicate receipt, check counterfoils, petty cash vouchers, duplicate bank deposit slips, internet banking, a notice of payment, signed credit card slip. What are external source documents? External source documents are documents prepared by the other party to the transaction and received by the entity as proof that the transaction did take place. So the entity will receive the original source document, and the entry into the books is recorded from the original source document. Example, original cash purchase invoice, original receipts, checks, and cash slips. So in this example, internal source documents. So internal source documents is whereby we as a company or an entity are issuing the documents. That's why they are in duplicate. We are issuing those documents to to external clients, and the external source is whereby we buy or pay. So when I go and buy office equipment, I will get an original invoice from Macro. Are you with me? Can you see the difference?
Yes.
The difference is internal within the company. The company is issuing that source documents within, and externally is whereby we receive as a business.
Receiving. Yes.
Are prepared by other parties. Okay, so I wanna go back here. Go back to this exercise. Ne? Are you still happy with number one?
Yes.
Remember now, because we are the ones who are issuing, this should be what? Duplicate.
Duplicate tax invoice.
Duplicate and duplicate cash receipts. Remember who's getting the original? You, Faith, the customer is getting the original.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Now we're back to app.
Finally. So this is duplicate because the original is with the customer and
the client.
Yes, and duplicate tax invoice. And duplicate tax invoice is left with us. Duplicate tax invoice. I think the right question would be, what are the source documents for this transaction for empty stationers?
Yes.
Can you see it's much more clearer now? For who? It's for the business.
This is for the business, yes. If it had said for Faith, it would have been the other way around.
Yes. Duplicate cash receipts for the business. Okay, are you happy? Is it just the two? Welcome, Weleti, and welcome. There's MN also on the group. Welcome. We're doing Learning Unit 4 for those who just came in. So basically, what are we doing? I'm just showing this example regarding the source documents. So basically empty stationery. Stationers buys and sells stationery to customers. Empty stationers is a VAT vendor. So Faith, a customer bought stationery for 5,750, including VAT, and paid cash for the stationery. And these are my questions now. So my question is, what are the source documents for this transaction for empty stationers? So Faith said duplicate tax invoice and duplicate cash receipts. So do you agree with what Faith is saying? So Faith, you still happy with duplicate tax invoice and duplicate cash receipts?
Yes.
As the source documents for empty stationers?
Trying to think. Yes. Yes.
Okay, let's go back to number 2. Are the source documents internal or external documents?
For empty stationers, the source documents are internal.
Okay. Okay, and then my question now is, so my other question is, what is the VAT charged on the invoice?
750. Or are we looking for a percentage or the amount?
I want on this amount here, 5,750. What is the value of the VAT
Of the VAT.
amount?
750.
Oh, so you're saying 750.
50. Yes.
Okay, let me just put there 750. Okay, and then I just also want to know is, what is the amount excluding VAT?
5,000.
5,000. Okay, is this a cash or a credit transaction?
Cash.
This is a cash transaction. Okay, are you happy with all your answers?
Yes.
Okay, number 1, let me just do the corrections. What are the source documents for this transaction for empty stationery? So number 1, because empty stationery received cash for selling stationery to Faith for 5,750, they will issue Faith with an original tax invoice, and in the business, in empty stationery, a duplicate tax invoice will remain. Because it's a cash transaction, they will issue Faith with an original cash receipt, and they will have a duplicate cash receipt. Number 3, they will have a duplicate deposit slip. That is number 3. Are you with me?
So they'll have a duplicate, now they have to go deposit the cash.
Yes.
Okay. They just don't put it under their drawer.
I know. Can you see? So because
Okay.
because they've got cash, they will go and deposit that money into the business's
Bank
bank
account.
account, and the bank will keep the original deposit slip and issue them with a duplicate deposit slip. Are you with me? So in a cash transaction whereby cash was a cash transaction happened, this would be the source document for
The
you
source
to.
document. Okay.
The source document will be duplicate tax invoice, duplicate cash receipts, and a duplicate deposit slip. Number 2, are the source documents internal or external? These are internal source documents. The ones that we mentioned above. So the duplicate tax invoice, the duplicate cash receipts, and the duplicate cash deposit slips are internal source documents. What is the VAT charged? VAT charged is 750. How did we get to 750?
We know VAT here in South Africa it's 15%. So I took the 5,750 and divided it by 1.15 to get the VAT amount.
Okay, that is good. So you said 5,750 divided by 1.15 to get what? Because when I say divided by 1.15, I get 5,000.
Sorry. To get the original amount of the VAT.
So now I want to know
get the original.
how you got to 750.
Oh, okay. That. Then I worked it backwards. I don't know how to get that directly.
Okay, so to get the 750, you need to say the amount including VAT, which is 5,750, multiplied by the rate of VAT divided by the rate plus 100, you get the VAT amount.
Oh, okay.
So write it somewhere, or so is the.
So it's 5,750 times
Amount
15.
Including VAT.
Yes. Divide by
Multiplied by
115. Yes, okay. So it's times 15 divided by 115.
So if you want the VAT amount, ne?
Yes.
If you want the VAT amount, you need to take so if you want the VAT amount, if you want to calculate the VAT amount in an invoice, it's gonna be amount including VAT, multiplied by VAT rate, which is 15%,
15.
then divided by 100 plus VAT rate.
VAT. Yes.
So are you with me? So it's basically amount including VAT. So if you want to calculate the VAT amount in an invoice and you are given the amount including VAT.
Including, okay.
Only when you are given the amount including VAT, you can calculate the VAT amount like this.
Okay.
This is important, eh? This is important for you to be able to do that. So if you want to calculate,
I did not know that.
So if you want to calculate the VAT amount in an invoice and you are given the amount including VAT, so the answer would be, so it will be equals to amount including VAT multiplied by the VAT rate divided by 100 plus the VAT rate. Okay, got that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then what is the amount? And also, this is how I do it, but there's a different ways. We'll see how your study guide calculates it. Now, when we look at the examples. So what is the amount excluding VAT? So there's two ways. You can either say amount including. So let's say now in the fortunate part is in this case, we just calculated the VAT amount. So we can just say amount
just
including
minus it.
Yes. So you can just say amount including VAT minus VAT amount. So in this case, because we just calculated the VAT, but in a case whereby we didn't calculate the VAT, how do we do that? How do we do that? Now you only have the
amount including VAT.
Yes. So basically in a question, you need to determine or check what are you given for you to calculate. So I'm saying to you, you can be given the VAT in a question and say calculate the including VAT. You can be given the excluding VAT, calculate the VAT. So can come anyhow. You need to go back to what is required.
Yes.
Are you with me? You need to be able to say, I'm given 750 and they're asking what is the amount including VAT. I'm being given 750, what is they want the amount excluding VAT. You need to be able to calculate that. So in this case, the amount, what is the amount excluding VAT? What is the amount excluding VAT? And you said 5,000. So the other way of calculating it is you can say if you're given the amount, let me do that. If you're given the amount including VAT and you want to calculate, in this one is if you want to calculate the VAT amount. So this one is if you want to calculate, let me see. If you want to calculate amount, calculate the amount excluding VAT in an invoice, and you are given the amount including VAT. So the answer would be amount including VAT So you're gonna say amount including VAT divided by
100 plus VAT rate.
Yes, yes. So you're gonna say amount including VAT divided by 1.15. So you're gonna say 5,750 divided by 1.1 divided by 1.15, and you get to 5,000. Are you with me?
5,000. Yes.
And this is, hopefully you've taken note of this too, eh?
Yes, more especially the first one. I was working it backwards. Now I know the exact, at least I know the straightforward way of doing it.
Yes. So now I want us to do this exercise here. I want us to look, it's not even an exercise, but to go through these with the source documents. So it's an example, comprehensive example. So consider the following transactions by BS Electrical. So the question is, Mr. Sitole, Mr. Sitole decided to deposit 100,000 in the entity's bank account to start a business. Mr. Sitole gave. So the question is, who is Miss S. Peterson? Mrs. S. Peterson is the bookkeeper. So
okay.
So Mr. Sitole is the owner of the business. He's the owner of BS
Yes.
Electrical. So Mr. Sitole decided to deposit 100,000 in the entity's bank account to start the business. And Mr. Sitole gave Ms. Peterson a check of 100,000 to deposit into the current bank account of BS Electrical. So the question is, what are the source documents here?
The source documents will be this. Is this for the business?
Yes.
Okay. So the source documents for the business will be the check, and
Okay.
it will also be the bank deposit slip.
Okay.
A duplicate bank deposit slip, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the two source documents.
So you're saying a check, counterfoil, and deposit slip for this transaction?
Yes.
Okay, let's just go down and see. Remember now, because he gave Miss Peterson. Miss Peterson needs to issue him with a receipt. You know,
A receipt of the check.
Yes. Do you understand why there's a duplicate receipt? Eh?
Okay. Yes.
So there should be a duplicate.
There's so many slips.
Yes, yes. So when you look at the question, especially like this, the first thing you need to, when you see a transaction whereby a check was issued, the question is, okay, if a check, the owner issued a check, what did he get back for issuing that check? A receipt.
To show that, yeah.
Yes, a receipt is sort of like proof that I gave you money.
Yes.
What am I
Okay.
getting after that? It's proof that I gave you money.
Okay.
And then when you see that they have deposited into the bank account already there should be what? A duplicate deposit slip.
A duplicate deposit slip. Okay.
Because that was deposited into the business bank account. So now when you
Mm-hmm.
go down, this is an example of a duplicate receipt that was issued to Mr. Sitole. Can you see?
Yes.
So this is a receipt for a check that he issued. Um, and then this is a duplicate deposit slip for depositing. So this is a duplicate one. The bank keeps the original. And then can you see that they're not taking into account the check that was issued?
Yes.
Because I agree with you that the check also should form part, because this is Mr. Tisolo decided to deposit 100,000 in the entity's bank account to start a business. Oh, you know why the check is not being taken into account?
Mm-hmm.
The check is not taken into account because this is from his personal. This comes from his personal bank account. He didn't use, this is,
Yes.
so especially when you start a business, obviously it's not from, you're not taking it from the business. It will
Yes.
come from your personal bank account. That's
Yes. It's
why,
capital. Yeah.
yes, that's why this is not being taken into account.
Yeah, I mean it's just like the previous cash transaction. It's not like you refer to cash as a slip or anything. A cash, it received a cash receipt slip and then a deposit from depositing the money into the bank. So I'm guessing it's the same thing.
Not really, because with this, I want to go back to this exercise we just did. I just want you to see the difference if this was paid by EFT, not
Oh, okay.
cash. So if Faith transferred money into the business bank account, so what is the difference there?
Mm, we would receive one external source document, which is the EFT slip, I think.
So can you see that it will minimize a lot of documents when you do the EFT?
Yes,
Because the only thing will
yes.
be uh, the Faith will get a tax
It will be the
invoice
duplicate invoice. Yes.
and proof of payment.
Yeah, and there's no depositing of money and there's no
Mm-mm,
duplicates.
mm-mm. And there is no duplicate. Those two will not be in existence.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of companies are still taking cash, eh?
No,
So
no.
most of them is they getting proof of payment.
Mm.
So this would be proof of payment here instead of these two here.
Instead of the two slips to receive cash and to deposit it. Okay.
So everything else, can you see, stays the same, but only the source document will change.
Yes.
If this was paid by EFT.
Okay. And that does that now constitute an internal or an external source document?
The EFT.
Yes. The
The EF,
EFT slip.
the EFT will be an internal document because remember the one who's issuing it is getting what what the original on their side. So the one
Is it?
that issue, so that is a good question there, hey? That is the good question. That is the good question. EFT, I think, should be an external document. Proof of payment. I think should be an external document. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Okay, but let's check. For me, I think should be an external. Let's just see here. Let me just double check here. Oh, it's an internal, as I said.
It's an internal. Okay.
It's an internal. It's an internal.
Yeah, this is what's confusing about these accounting things.
No. But this will be so confusing. You know why? I'm gonna give you an example. In with this EFT, but it will apply both internally and externally.
Okay.
Let me give you this example. So remember, internal documents are those documents prepared by the entity itself. Ne? So in this case, we got that from an external from our. This is not a document that we prepared. That's why I'm telling you that the EFT in this case, because we're getting it from our customer, it's an external. It will only be an internal document if now we bought computer by EFT. We now, that internal document, we now sending it to macro.
Okay.
So can you see that it comes both ways?
Yes.
So if we are receiving it, this is not our internal document. We are receiving it from a customer saying this is the proof of payment. But if we issuing it, so basically this is our internal document. We are issuing it to macro.
Okay.
So can you see that the both scenarios can both be internal?
No.
The examples that I gave you now.
Yes.
And it only makes sense in internet banking, notice of payment. We now, that notice of payment, we sending it to macro because we've bought a computer. But the external documents also refer to supporting documents. External documents are documents prepared by other party to the transaction and received by the entity as proof. Are you with me?
Yes. Okay.
Received by the entity. We received that proof of payment. Can you see that it was so important for us to refer to this?
Yeah.
So we received a proof of payment from our customer who paid. Are you with me? I think it's going to be clearer when we do this. Let's do this exercise. Okay, so we're happy that because it's a check, it's a duplicate receipt and a duplicate deposit slip. Okay,
yes.
let's do transaction number 2. Transaction number 2 is on the 2nd of January, BS Electrical bought toolbox and tools to be used by BC Toller from Big Builders for 10,000 and paid by cash, by check number 001. What are the source documents?
I'm seeing what a toolbox and Paid by check. So inclusive. So they will get the source documents is the original tax invoice for the bill, and they will get a receipt for the check issued.
Okay. So first of all, we as a business are buying.
Yes.
And when we are buying from big builders, we paid by check. We paid by check. So if we as a business are buying, you are correct when you say we're getting an original tax invoice from big builders for 10,000. Are you with me?
Yes.
So
Yes.
also I need you to take into account that this 10,000 is VAT inclusive.
That's inclusive. Yes.
And then this was paid by check. So you saying the source document is the original tax invoice and
The receipt for the check issued. The original receipt for the check issued.
so the source document you're saying are two is the original tax invoice from big builders. Because why are we getting an original tax invoice from big builders? Because we bought toolbox and toolbox and tools from big builders, and big builders will be keeping the duplicate tax invoice.
Yes.
So in this case, you're saying the original tax invoice and the original receipt. Am I right?
Yes.
So the receipt
Yes.
from BS from big builders acknowledging the receipt of payment of that check.
Yes.
Okay, let's just see. So the answer is you forgot to the check, because remember we paid by check as BS
Oh dear
Electrical.
Lord.
You forgot the check counterfoil. Remember? So if you're looking at this, you can see that, oh, paid by what? By check. This is a source
Yes.
document. And we bought what? Toolbox. We need to get an invoice. Can you see? The question is,
I always forget the foil, the
yeah,
copy of the check.
yes. Check counterfoil. This is it. Can you see? This is the check to big builders for take
Yes.
10,000. And your correct original cash invoice. This is the original cash invoice. But can you see that the exchange here was only the receipt can only be issued if this was paid by cash. So because this was paid by check, there is no receipt from big builders. So the only source document, so for you to
The
be able to,
counterfoil and the okay.
so for you to,
Oh dear Lord.
so you need to go over this exercise. So if and write it down to say, if a business bought by check, what are the source documents? By check, then it should be that check and the invoice from the supplier. If this was in cash,
then there's a receipt.
yes.
Okay.
So now we can see that this is the check for 10,000 and the original tax invoice. So the question is, How do we calculate the VAT amount? How was this VAT amount calculated?
We'll go back now. So we said amount including VAT multiply by VAT rate divided by 100 plus VAT rate. I think.
So just calculate it on your side.
Yes, so it is 10,000. Where's the calculator? 10,000 multiply by 15 divide by 100 plus 15. Yeah?
So it's 10,000 times 15 divided by 115.
Yes. Divided by 115. Is that right?
How much
am I
do you get?
calculating?
So you
10,000 times
you're
15
taking, yes.
divide by 115. Sorry, I had a wrong amount. So it's 1304.347 or 34.
So remember when you round it out, when you round the amount up,
yes,
if the third decimal is 5 or more.
More than 5, yes.
Yes, the second decimal changes that. Changes the second decimal.
5. Yes.
So are you happy with that?
Yes.
Let's calculate the exclusive amount.
The exclusive amount would be 10,000. 10,000 divided by 1.15. So I keep saying 1,000. Divided by 1.15, which is 8,695.65.
Are you happy? Can you see? Here it is.
Yes, yes.
So let's just see how this is calculated on the study guide. So they said calculation VAT. So can you see? They taking the amount excluding VAT times 15%. Can you see that there's many ways you can calculate this, but so long as you get to the same answer.
Yes.
So they took the amount excluding VAT and multiplied by 15% to get to the VAT amount.
Yes. So that amount, let's see. So if we took the amount excluding VAT, 8695 times. Okay. 15, because 15 over 100 divided by 100 is 0.15. 86.
So say 8695.65 times 15%.
Yes, times 0.15.
Yes.
0.65 times 0.15. Okay. Now that's the quickest.
Can you see? So if you're so write it down. If you're given the amount excluding VAT, can you see now they're calculating it? So the textbook is calculating it in a point whereby you're given the exclusive amount, not the inclusive.
Exclusive amount, yes.
So you're gonna take the exclusive times 0.14, 0.15. If you are given,
yes,
if you are given the amount excluding.
Yes.
So
It
for
was
you,
VAT inclusive.
you know how to calculate it. When you're given the amount exclusive and when you're given the amount inclusive. Am I right?
Inclusive. Yes.
Okay. And then let's go down. Transaction number 3. Transaction number 3 is on 2nd of January 2006, BS Electrical bought a cash register for 3,378 and 88 cents, VAT inclusive by check, and by check number 0002 from Wiseman Traders. Received cash invoice number 0578 from Wiseman Traders to be retained for guarantee purposes. Ms. S. Peterson negotiated for a discount of 10% because the cash register was paid by check. So what are the source documents here on this transaction?
The check count, the check foil,
Okay.
and the original tax invoice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That is correct. So a check counterfoil, there it is. For, can you see, look at this amount here. Can you see that the cash register was bought for 3,378.88, but the check is, can you see?
Yes.
Do you know why?
Yes, because of the discount.
Yes, yes. How did they get to that amount? How did they get to paying why now is it 3040.999? How did they calculate that? How did they calculate that?
3378.88. Just want to see if it gets to the same amount. 9%. Yeah, I can just do a straight 3,378.88 minus 10%.
And then you get to that answer.
3040.
Yes, can you see? So they just took the 3378 minus that 10%, or you can just minus the 10%, then you get to that. Can you see? You get to that 3099. And you're right when you say also the original cash invoice. So if they're getting the original cash invoice, the supplier is getting the
duplicates. Yes.
Cash invoice. This is the original text invoice. So let's do the VAT part of it now. So you need to know, especially when there is a discount involved, how is the VAT calculated if there is discount involved? So just a quick heads up. Last semester when I did the classes, a lot of students were struggling when a question in an assignment included, they talked about VAT. So they would give you a transaction and they will say a discount, the like in this case. So students will at that point have a problem. So you please, I need you to be attentive, especially when there is a in this transaction number 3, where there is 10% discount. Be attentive on how VAT is taken into account. So please make a note. This is important, especially transaction number 3, because it involves a 10% discount. So my question again is this 10% discount allowed or discount received?
Ms. Peterson negotiated for a 10% discount because cash register was paid for by. I think it's just translating the sentence. It's discount allowed.
Okay, let me tell you what's the difference between discount allowed and discount received. So I think maybe I asked you a question whereby I didn't explain what is discount allowed and what is discount received. So if a BS Electrical issues a discount to one of their customers because they paid early.
Yes.
So if as their customer, maybe you paid, maybe the terms was like you pay within 30 days, but you
pay
paid
within 30 days.
But they paid earlier. That is called discount allowed. We as a business, we allowed a discount to our customer.
Yes.
If BS Electrical buys asset or whatever, and when they buy, or maybe they pay their expenses early, and they receive a discount from one of their supplier, that is called discount received, because BS Electrical is receiving discount from their supplier.
Okay. I think I was explaining it wrong in my head, because I was thinking because it's got a type of payment related to it. It's only allowed because of the type of payment you use.
So allowed and received is is with regards to the business. It's with regards to BS Electrical. So in this example, did BS Electrical allow a discount or did they receive a discount?
Oh, now I understand. Okay.
So my question again, I'm asking you this question. In this transaction number 3, did BS Electrically, is this a discount allowed or discount received?
Received.
Yes, well done. Well done. And how much was the discount received?
The discount received, the percentage was 10%.
And the amount was 33789.
Yes.
And now we're calculating the VAT. So I want you to be attentive, ne? Because remember, discount allowed and discount received has VAT. So separately those things, the discount allowed and discount received, because this is a VAT vendor, there is a VAT amount on it. If an entity gets a cash discount, the discount is subtracted from the original price payable, and only the final amount will be entered into the books of the entity. The cash discount will not be shown in the books of the entity. Let me just go down. So now we now calculating the VAT. So the let's see, 3. Let's look at the tax invoice. So this is a tax invoice. This is what we paid the the vendor, which the supplier, Wiseman Traders. So
304,099.
So now selling price VAT exclusive So now, I just want to see on this invoice, 3378. So this is the original price, of that cash
Yes.
register roll, and then times 100 divided by 115. So we're calculating the VAT exclusive amount. Can you see?
Yes.
So the VAT exclusive amount is this. So they're taking the original amount, okay? And which is the VAT exclusive, which is this one, okay? And the cash discount, they're taking it as the amount excluding VAT times 10%. The amount of 293 must be rounded off. This means that in the amount of 293, we must decide whether the 1 rand must change. Okay, all right. Okay, this transaction, I need you to understand this transaction. Ne? So the amount excluding VAT, they took, let's see, they took the original full amount, which is the 3378.88 times 100 divided by 114 to get to 2938, ne?
Yes.
And then to calculate the cash discount, they took the amount excluding VAT times 10%, which is 293.81. Are you with me?
Okay.
So I want you to take this. So this means that 337.89 minus 293.82
is your new amount excluding, I think.
So 293.82 293.82 the amount. So basically this is what? This is the cash discount.
Yes.
So when you add up these two, and tell me how much you get.
I think you're supposed to subtract those to get the amount excluding VAT after the discount.
Subtract the two.
Yes, 2938.16 minus 293.82 is 2644.34.
Oh, then it gives us this.
It gives us the amount excluding VAT after the discount.
Yes, yes. And then we can calculate our VAT amount.
VAT, yes.
So basically this transaction here, transaction number 3, Faith, is very important. You need to make sure you understand it thoroughly, because a lot of questions will come and they will talk about a discount, and you need to be able to calculate, when do you calculate the VAT, before or after the discount, you know? So in this case, they will give you different scenarios, but you need to come back to say that my amount, my original amount excluding VAT is this, My original amount excluding VAT is this, and I'm gonna take 10% of it, and the 2 minus the 2 will give me my amount excluding VAT, amount that I will calculate my VAT on.
Yes.
Are we with me? So basically, it's sort of like they said amount excluding VAT minus 10%, ne? That will give us the amount excluding VAT.
Yes.
So they took the 2938.16 minus the 10% discount, and then you get the amount excluding VAT minus the discount, and then you multiply them 0.15. You say 2644.34 times 0.15, you get to 396.65. Then it'll give you the amount that we paid excluding the discount. Are you with me?
Yes.
So in a question, when a question comes like this, so they will give you a sort of like a scenario to say that like this, ne? Can you see the way it's written? So the question will come to say,
Yes.
what is the VAT on the discount?
Yes.
Or they will say, what is the VAT? What is the 15% VAT on this transaction? So can you see that you're calculating the 15%? What the first thing you need to do is take this excluding VAT.
Take out the, yes.
Minus 10%. And then calculate the 0.15%. Can we go to transaction number 4?
Yes.
And have you submitted an assignment as yet?
I have submitted only one. I'm gonna have to redo 1 and 2.
Okay. So
I'm hoping this next one will be good.
Okay. But you, especially when question like this comes, you need to ace this, eh? You need to ace it.
Yes, I have to.
Okay. And transaction number 4 is on the 3rd of January, Miss S. Peterson issued a check. Check number 000034300 as the cash float for the cash register. The check was cashed for small change to be kept in the cash register.
Okay.
So the bookkeeper issued a check of 300 Rand as the cash float. So this is a cash that was issued to be cashed out. So what are the source documents?
The cash, sorry, the source documents will be the counter, the check counter foil.
Okay.
And then there would be I think there should be a transaction at the bank for the, I don't know, for the cash received for the check, when cashing the check. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so you're right when you say a cash counterfoil, yes. And can you see this is the money that we received from the bank. This is
Yes.
So she asked them to pay out the 300 in small change. Can you see? This is a
Yes.
small change
Yes.
from the bank.
Yes.
So this is a cash check that was cashed out.
Mm-hmm.
So can you see
Yes.
that the only source documents there is only the check counterfoil?
The check counterfoil. And
But
then we get the cash.
But I think also, what about after you cash out a check, don't you get something else from the bank? Or is it just the cash?
No, I think it's just the cash. You get there, you
Okay.
give them, and they give you check, and they give you cash. It's like taking like big notes from the from the till or whatever. And then, yeah, I used to do a lot of change when I was still a cashier.
Is it?
Yeah. Then you
Oh,
go to the bank, you give them the notes, you give them the list of small change that you want, and they just give you, they don't give you anything. All you get
okay.
is your change.
Wow. Okay. So in this transaction number 4, can you see that the only source document is this check number 003?
Yes. Yes.
That's the only source document. And then number 5 is the entity received an invoice from BC Tole for rent in January. The rent of 2,000 VAT inclusive for occupying part of a building situated on Mr. BC Tole's land was paid by issuing check number 004 on the 4th of January.
Okay. So, the entity received an invoice for rent, the rent amount of it is. So the sales documents will be the tax invoice or the invoice, the original document,
Okay.
and the check counterfoil for the check issued for the rent.
Okay. So yes, that's correct. A check counterfoil. So pay Mr. B. Sitol has been paid because BS Electrical is occupying part of a building situated on Mr. Sitole's land.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, but now, what about the invoice? Can you see?
Yes, where's the invoice? I did say the invoice.
No, I'm saying I want the answer here. I don't see an invoice.
Is that it?
What about the invoice? I'm also saying the same. What about the invoice from Mr. Sitol? What about an invoice?
Yeah, because that's an external document for the entity.
So I don't know, maybe on my UNISA, maybe they've added something to say that, guys, you should add this transaction number 5, also add tax invoice. But this should be tax invoice from Mr. B. Sitole and a check counterfoil.
Yes.
Okay, number 6. On the 10th of January 2006, Mr. B. Sitole rendered a service for 3 different clients. Mr. P. Lucky, Mrs. V. Happy, and Mr. T. Busy. Original sales invoice number 001, 002, and 003 were issued to them respectively. They have paid the amounts, and receipt number 2 and 3 were issued to Mr. P. Lucky and Mrs. V. Happy, respectively. Mrs. S. Peterson only deposited these amounts into the bank account on the 11th of January. So can you see that by you reading the transaction thoroughly, already the answers are there? While reading it, because first of all, this is Mr. Bisutole rendered a service to 3 different clients. So meaning there's income coming to the business.
Yes.
So already Mr. P, Mr. P Lucky, Mrs. V Happy, and Mr. T Busy, a service was rendered. And already on your answer, in your question, the answer that
original.
Can you see? Original sales
Yes.
invoices number were issued to them respectively. What does it mean when they issue the original tax invoice? You need to, so already there, you can say that in the question, they're telling you that the source documents, original sales invoice, were issued to the clients, Mr. P Lucky, Mrs. V Happy, and Mr. T Busy. Original sales invoice were issued. And they said they have paid the amounts, and receipt number 1, 1 and 3 were issued to Mr. Lucky and Mrs. V Happy. Already there on the question, can you see that your answers have been given?
Yes.
So my question is, what are the source documents?
We have the duplicate sales invoices 1, 2, and 3.
Well done.
And then we have the duplicate cash receipt numbers or 2 and 3. It isn't only deposited based on means into the cash. Who's Mrs. Peterson now?
It's the bookkeeper of BS Electrical.
Oh, okay.
Already, this is also telling you something.
So, yeah, so someone did not pay here. So we've got 2 duplicate payment receipts as source documents, 2 and 3. And then we have cash deposit slips.
Okay.
For the 2 cash amounts received. So there's 3 invoices. There's 2 cash receipt, duplicate cash receipt slips, and then there's 2 duplicate deposit, or I don't know.
Okay. No, well done. Well done, because I think the other one they said he paid by credit card. This one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's go down. Yes. Immediately you see original sales invoice were issued. What is the company left with?
Duplicates.
Yes, because when a company starts, especially when they start their business, they can go to, I don't know, is there still CS? Is CNA still there as a shop?
Yeah, I think I saw it. Yes.
So they'll go to CNA and buy an invoice book. So others have a book.
Yes, that one. Yes.
Yeah, and they will write on it the invoice number and the invoice to their customer, and what will remain after they write is the duplicate on that book, on that invoice book.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then, so the duplicate cash invoice that's left, can you see? This is the duplicate. So I want us now, oh, I like it. You know why I'm so happy? I'm so happy because
Why?
now I see the question didn't mention discount, but there is discount.
Okay.
I'm happy because look at this. I'm so happy. So now I want you, can you see that? Let's just go up. Ne? I'm happy when I see discount. When I see discount, I get happy. So number 6, and what's so amazing is they didn't even put the amounts on this transaction number 6.
Yes, on the invoices, on the transaction.
There's no, so let's look at the invoice. So the invoice is this amount, excluding VAT, minus the 10% discount. So the VAT is calculated on this amount.
Yes.
So let's just look at the check amount. What is the check amount for? Because this is another invoice. This is another invoice.
I think where they say the invoice, they explain the amount.
Let's go up. Transaction number, is it 6?
Yes.
So
Under explanation there.
received
So under
money.
source documents.
Oh, okay. Mr. BC told issued original sales invoice to a customer after he finished the jobs. Ms. Peterson kept copies of this cash invoices, used it to do the entries in the books of BS Electrical. Can you see? I don't see amounts, eh?
No, they did not put amounts anyway.
But the question I'm going to ask you is this discount allowed or discount received?
Allowed.
Yes. So can you see that in both discount received and allowed it's been done, it's been calculated the same way?
Yes.
So you're gonna look. So if now you're given the amount including VAT, so you're gonna say amount including VAT to get to the exclusive amount minus the 10%. Then you get the amount excluding VAT minus the 10% discount. You get to this amount minus the discount. Then you calculate the VAT. So let's calculate the VAT. The VAT is 1026.32 times 0.15.
I can't see. 1026.27. Yeah. What are we looking for? The VAT.
We're looking for the
Times
VAT
15
amount.
equals to divide by 115.
So we're looking for how did they get to this 153.95? So they took the amount excluding VAT and excluding discount times 0.15.
1026.32 times 0.15. Yes.
To get to this amount.
Yes.
So you know what's my question now? I want to add something here. If this is the total invoice, the invoice total, which is 1180, and which is this amount that Mr. P. Lucky paid. Ne? What was the original amount? Because this is the amount, he's paying this amount after discount. So what was the amount before the discount? So I want to ask you, what was the amount that was originally charged by BS Electrical to their client? What was the amount before the discount? What was the amount?
So it would have been the original amount, because we have it there, plus
So how do we know? I want us to go back to this one where the original amount was given. So can you see that there in this exercise, we only know this. We don't know.
yes.
So there'll be a question asking you that you should be able to know. So can you see, I want us to get to this. I want us to get to 3378. And you can only get that if you add back
the discount.
Yes, add back 10% here. Add back the 10% so that we can go back to the original amount.
So if the original amount is 1180, I need to plug my charger. Oh dear. I think I left my charger at work.
Wow, and is your battery low?
It should be fine. It will finish the class. It's just running low.
Oh, so my thing is, how do we, if we're given this, how do we get to the original amount, the 3378?
If we're given the amount excluding VAT, is that the amount excluding or including VAT now?
So this amount
what is the amount?
So this amount is the amount, is the original amount minus the 10% discount. So what's here is 3378 minus the 10% discount to get to this.
Or 3040.99. 3040.99 plus. You just, is it correct? No? This amount is not. It's not giving me the correct amount if I add the 10% on.
I'm also doing the same thing. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I'm also not getting back to. So my question is, I don't know if it's possible if you given this to go back to getting back to the original amount.
Let me see, how much is that amount?
3378.88.
Oh yeah, you divide by 0.9, which is 10% margin, actually, not markup. Dear Lord. So if you take 3040.99 divide by 0.9, you get 3378.87.
And not 0.10, because 0.10 is not
No.
working.
No. 0.10 is like 90%. 0.9 is 10%.
Okay, so I want us to do that with this exercise here. With this, let's do that with, because on this exercise we don't know. So let's take the 1180 0.27 times, is it what, divided by
amount divided by 0.9. So 1180.27 divided by 0.9. So it's 1311.41.
And then if you multiply, you take 10%. If you take out 10%, how much do you get? So if you take out 10%, you need to go back to that 1180.27.
Dear Lord. Okay, 1311. So this is now the amount including that. 1311.41. 1311.41 less 10%. Yes, 1180.269.
Yes, yes. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, so I know. Well done, girl. Well done. So I was showing you to say that a question can come in any way. You need to say, so like this, what we just did, a question will come to you and say, okay, the discount was issued. What was the original amount? So you'll be given all of this, but now, or they'll give you they'll show you this tax invoice and you need to calculate the amount we just did now.
Yes.
So it's so important to play around with the figures, eh? Because when the assignment is there, there's no time to think. You need to, time is ticking.
Yeah.
So basically,
when
you do the exercises, play around with the exercise and just say, oh, if I've been given this, I want to go back and do that. Think like that, so that any question that come, you are on point.
Yes.
And then let's just calculate we did calculate the VAT. Let's just also test this, do the same for this one now. Can you see that with also this one, we're not given the amount, the original amount before the discount?
Yes.
So let me see, how did they get this? So they go, you know how to calculate this, ne? So it's taking this times 0.15 to get to the 384.87.
Yes.
So now we want to get to the original amount before the 10% discount. So we take 2950.66 divided by 0.9. We get there.
Which is 32. Yes.
Then we get the amount. Then we get the amount before the 10% cash discount.
3278. Yes.
And then I want you to take that amount Take that amount that you just calculated,
Mm-hmm.
divide it by 1.15.
Divide 1.15. Mm-hmm. It's
But now
2850.87.
it's what? 28?
9.
Okay.
2850.88.
Okay, but now you know what I want you to do? Take that amount before the discount. So take 2950.66.
Yes.
Divided by 0.9 to get to the amount before the
3278.
okay.
3278.51.
Okay. Take out 10% discount.
3278.51 minus 10%. 2950.66.
You took out the 10% discount.
Yes.
How much is it?
So if you take 2950.66. So if you take this amount, the last amount that we have, right?
Mm.
The 2950.
Yes.
That's the
yes.
including amount.
Oh, yes.
And so if you take 2950.66 and then you go to the original amount, divide by 0.9, which is 3278, and you take the original amount before the discount and you minus the VAT, it takes you back to the top of that invoice, excluding VAT, to 2850.
Okay.
So if you go divide by 1.15, you go back to 2850.879, where it all started.
All I'm saying is play around those figures.
Yes.
You need to play around the
So
figures.
the only way to know that the 3278 is correct, it needs to be excluding VAT. If you take out VAT from there, it needs to take you back to the 2850 where we started.
Yes.
Yes.
So play around with those numbers. So let's go. Let's do this one. Oh, this is 5% discount.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just see, how do they get to the VAT? So the VAT is 3250 times 0.15 to get to this 387.50. So if you take 3737.50 times 15 divided by 115, how much do you get?
Sorry, if you're doing what? 3737.50
times 15 divided by 115.
487.50.
And which is what?
The VAT.
And then if you take 3737.50 divided by 1.15.
That's 3250. That's the amount before the VAT.
Okay. And also, what is important is when you calculate the amount excluding VAT should be the amount minus the cash discount.
Yes.
And then the question that I'm having is, when you look at this invoice, how did they get to 3421.05?
The original, you want the original amount?
Yes. So basically, if now a question comes, ne, it comes. So for you to determine this, what amount you should have been given for you to determine this?
The amount would have been, so you can just add the discount manually, or you can go divide by 0.95.
So that is also so important for you to be able to understand how they got to this 3421.05.
Yes.
So let me just look at this one. So they said Mr. T paid by credit card. The transaction was automatically processed by the bank and the money was transferred into BS Electrical account from Mr. T Busy's account. Only 5% was granted to Mr. T Busy because the bank charged a fee, a negotiated 3%, a negotiated 3% of the sales amount for the service. The cost will appear on the bank statement that BS Electrical will receive at the end of the month from Helping Bank Limited. Ms. Peterson will keep the original credit card transaction slip signed by Mr. T Busy and a copy of the credit card transaction given by Mr. T Busy. Oh, so this is it. Duplicate deposit slip. So can you remember I told you that Mr. T Busy paid by credit card?
Yes.
So we will keep the original credit card transaction slip signed by Mr. T Busy and a copy of the credit card transaction slip was given to Mr. T Busy. It looks like here, when I look at this, I think he swiped by credit card, eh?
Yes.
Can you see? And this is what came out of that machine, and he signed it. So we will keep the original credit card transaction slip signed by Mr. T Busy, and the copy of the credit card transaction slip was given. Oh, so basically the copy, we keeping the original, we giving him the copy.
The copy, yes.
Let me see number 7. On the 15th, Mr. Sitole decided that he would buy different types of cables and other fittings necessary for the service he rendered and keep it in BS Electrical's inventory. Clients could then buy the necessary cable and fittings from BS Electrical, and Mr. Bisitolo could advise them on what is needed for a specific service rendered. BS Electrical would get 20% discount if the entity buys at bulk from huge wholesalers. Mr. Bisitole handed Mrs. S. Peterson the following list of items she has to order from huge. So these were ordered. So this one is very interesting. So Faith, please, this is the last one. I need you to go through this. Go through this on your own. I think
Okay.
there's still transactions 7 and 8 and 9. Yeah, so just finish up the whole exercise. But can you see the how you look at those transactions?
Yes.
And the more you look at them one by one, the more you become clear and understand each one.
Yes.
The more you do each one of them, and the way I showed you to say that when you look at the invoice, understand the VAT, understand the discount.
Yes.
Make sure you understand the VAT, understand the discount, and go backwards with the amounts and, recalculate the amount,
Yes.
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 So, yeah, how was the class, eh?
No, like I said last week, even this week, I came here not knowing a lot of stuff, and the past 2 hours, it's really eye-opening. You think you know something until you actually do it, and then you realize
Yes,
no, you know
yes,
nothing.
yes.